Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jennifer Watkins and I welcome you all to our ceremony. Before we commence, I need to briefly refer to the government regulations surrounding COVID-19 and public events. We are required to have all those attending here sign either the contact tracing form or use the QR code, and they're on the table at the gate. Please do ensure that you've done that before you leave. Please also ensure, as far as possible, that you observe the social distancing regulations. We've gathered here today to remember the life of a well-known and respected member of this community, Mr. Douglas Eric Elefsen, known to some of you as Dougie, who left us peacefully on November the 9th at the age of 95 years. Doug was the loving husband of Beryl for 71 years. Much loved dad of Lorraine and Norm, Brian and Editha, Eric, Rick and Margaret. Loved grandfather of Emma, Jane, Natasha, Craig, Renee, Tara and their partners. And Doug is fondly remembered by 18 great-grandchildren and one great-great-grandson. To all of Doug's family, we offer our sincere sympathy in your loss. This ceremony allows us to express our feelings as we support each other. We all need love and understanding at times like this. We need people to be around when our life changes. We need others to listen when we need to talk, especially in times of grief and loss. Today we're here not only to mourn Doug's death, but also to give thanks for all the good that came from his life and to recognise the significance of his contribution to your world. Death is a part of our experience here on earth, so we must accept that as part of life. It's in death that we show our kinship with nature. As with a falling leaf or a withering flower, we all belong in that great order of the universe. So we come and we go, but life itself flows on. We must now begin to accept Doug in death, resting peacefully at the end of a long life well lived. Down through the ages, the words of Christian scripture have offered comfort in times of loss. One of the most loved readings in the Bible is Psalm 23, "The Lord is my shepherd," and I'd like to share those timeless words with you now. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Now, two of Doug's granddaughters, Emma and Jane, will share with us some memories of Doug's life.
Douglas Eric Elefsen was born on the 22nd of January 1926 to Eric and Eveline Elefsen in the family home at Minnepa. Doug was the firstborn, followed by sisters Doreen and Kathleen, and then brothers Kevin and John. Doug was named after Sir Douglas Mawson, who was a great friend of his parents. Doug attended Minnepa School, where he completed his qualifying certificate and became best mates with Bill Williams, who also was to become a publican and continued to be a special person in Doug's life. After Doug finished school, Doug and Bill Sleep went through Horrocks Pass riding their push bikes to Adelaide to help pick olives with the Greeks. As a young man, Doug joined the Air Force 2 days after his 18th birthday, serving in both Bondi and Mildura, doing engineer training, which was a significant part of his life. His time in the Air Force brought integrity and righteousness to his life. He was gratified in being able to show his respect to RSL and always wore his service medals with absolute pride. After the war, Doug returned to Minnepa. Douglas married Beryl Lorraine O'Connor on the 6th of February 1950 in Adelaide. They had 3 children. Lorraine, born on the 25th of March 1951, Brian, the 1st of November 1952, and Eric, Rick, born on the 1st of November 1960. Doug, Beryl and their children made a life in Minnepa. At the start of married life, Doug and Beryl purchased the family farm and took on the running of the Minnepa wheat stacks, which they continued to do for several years. Doug followed in his father's footsteps and joined the Masonic Lodge on the 23rd of June in 1958, which was an important and honourable part of Doug's life. He was the first master on the 16th of August 1967 and again in 1984, 1985, 1988, 1992, 1993 and 2006. In 1995, Doug was elected as the Secretary and he held this position 26 years on. His Grand Lodge rank was Senior Grand Deacon and he received an OS, Order of Service, for the commitment he gave to the Freemasonry. Doug was also a member of the Franklin Harbour Mark Lodge and has been a Master twice, a member of the Royal Ark Mariners and the Royal Ark Chapter. Doug was a member of the ROAB Lodge as well. He looked forward to meetings and sharing the day with exceptional friends from all different parts of the lodge. In 1965, Doug and Beryl purchased the Minnepa Hotel, where he met and made many lifelong friends, sharing memories, laughs and special times. We often wonder whether 6 o'clock closing was ever actually finishing time for them. These stories are always told by Doug with very fond memories. And in later years, when Colin Chesson was the barman, those stories were continued. And never a day went by when Dougie wouldn't tell a story of Colin Chesson. Doug started his flying hobby to do his TIF on the 9th of September in 1966. He then did about 3 hours of instructions when his student pilot's licence was issued on the 26th of April in 1967. Doug achieved all the finer things about learning to fly and the boring things he had to learn and pass, like the necessary exams. His first solo flight was on the 24th of April in 1967. Doug had a love of football, which saw him be secretary for 4 years of the Lee Hunt Football Club. Doug was also the inaugural president of the Western Districts Football Club when it was formed. Doug also had a love of cricket and was a member of the Adelaide Oval. He would attend the Test in Adelaide every year.
Doug prided himself on joining the Australian Hotels Association, the AHA. He was an extremely active member for many years, eventually being awarded a life membership in May 2013. On the 11th of October 2021, unknown to Doug, his dear wife Beryl was inducted into the Women in Hotels Hall of Fame by Doug's great friend Peter Hurley. This made the acknowledgement extra special, and most of Doug's family were present at the hotel for this event. We will never forget the smile Doug had on his face. He was so proud of who had tirelessly supported him throughout the years. He would travel to Adelaide for AHA meetings every 4 weeks. Doug was also a proud member of the Beefsteak and Burgundy Club, in which he also made a life member in 2004. He enjoyed being part of this club. I'm sure many people would have many entertaining stories. One in particular was at a B&B gathering when at 3 a.m, Ian Dixon was waiting for Kevin Quinn. Ian was tired of waiting and drove his F-truck to the front door and blasted the horn, which then sent everyone running. 1972 saw Doug and Beryl build an extension into the Minnipa Hotel. This was a testament to his love of hospitality and a lifestyle he dedicated his life to. Doug felt very privileged to be a businessman in Minnipa, a town that he loved so dearly. Up until Doug's passing, he still had a great interest and love for the hotel, which saw him perched on the front bar in a spot that he would swiftly and sometimes rudely move people on from. Rain, hail or shine, Doug would always be in the front bar at 6 o'clock. The only time you wouldn't see him at the pub would be if he was out of town. To this day, Doug was still a member of all the clubs he had joined throughout his life. He was never one to stand down from a position if he felt he could contribute. Doug prided himself on being a life member of the AHA and a 60-year member of the Masonic Lodge. He was very proud to still be able to hold a current driver's licence. Doug had some great friends in which he held in very high regards. Doug was a charismatic gentleman and loved nothing better than a schooner of beer and talking about the good old days. Doug was a proud, loving man who enjoyed the company of everyone. He loved it when his grandchildren would visit, the older ones with a beer, and his great-grandchildren with all the noise. Doug was proud of his children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren in all their achievements and results of the ethics he had installed into them. On the 8th of June, Doug broke his hip, which required surgery and rehab in Adelaide, where he spent 6 long weeks. He spent a week in Streaky Bay Hospital before returning home to Minnipa. Doug was thrilled to still be living at his home in Minnipa with Beryl to this day, a town where he had spent his life and always wished to be. Doug passed away on the 9th of November at 95 years of age. 95 was a very proud innings for him. He never liked to be late for any appointments, social events or any time-framed occasion, and would always say, "You got to be there half an hour early." So today, Dad, we have made sure your coffin is at the Minnipa Cemetery that half an hour early. You would be proud of us for doing that. He is loved and cherished by his loving wife of 71 years, Beryl, daughter Lorraine, sons Brian and Rick, son-in-law Norman, and daughter-in-law Margaret, and Brian's partner Editha, grandchildren and their partners, Emma and Rob, Jane, Natasha and Sheath, Craig and Amy, Renee and Daniel, Tara and Sam, great-grandchildren Camden, Connor and Rebecca, Stephanie, Matthew, Zara and Josh, RJ, Malachi, Paxton, Peyton, and RJ's son Revere, Miles, Andy and Georgie, Madison, Nate and Miller, and Noah.
Doug was a friend to many, and he will be forever missed and always remembered.
Thank you very much, Emma and Jane. And now we're going to join together to sing a well-known hymn. The words are printed on the booklets that you have. It's Amazing Grace.
blind, but now I see.
'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Thank you very much, Renee. Our ceremony